Hello, my name is Jane, and today I invited my followers to participate in asking me questions so I could answer them for you here today. So this first letter that I received from a girl named Dorothy, she asks how I knew I found the perfect husband. Well, Dorothy, there's actually more to this story than you know, and it is interesting that you ask me this question. I found love with Mr. Rochester. He was originally my boss at Thornfield Hall. We are currently married, but for a while it was not seeming that it would turn out that way. He was interested in a certain Miss Ingram, and it made sense because he was wealthy and she came from a wealthy sort of family, and I was sure that they would get together. I did not speak of my feelings for Mr. Rochester. I felt they were inappropriate and would not be reciprocated. I wanted to respect his relationship with Miss Ingram because, as you know, it is very uncommon and unthought of for someone to marry their servant like me. I did not interfere with the relationship, even though I could tell she did not love him. I wanted to leave things alone because I knew it probably would not work out. However, eventually it turned out he did reciprocate my feelings, and he broke off with Miss Ingram and decided that we should get married. I of course agreed because I loved him and we had good conversations, so we went to get married. However, that is not all of the story. When we went to get married, it was revealed that he already had a wife. This wife was insane and a lunatic, and she obviously was not fit to be his wife, but she was his wife either way. I decided not to go through with the marriage because I refused to be a mistress, even if there was love involved. I felt that it went against my independence and how I felt, so I did not go through with the marriage. This was when I left Thornfield Hall. I did leave. I talked a little bit about my experience leaving in my other video about poverty to fortune, my journey, and so if you want to hear more about that, you can go there. But while I was there, I met a Mr. St. John, and he turned out to be my cousin. He was a missionary, and although he did have an interest, he did not pursue in marriage because he was a missionary and wanted a perfect missionary's wife. He deemed me that such missionary wife. I had nice conversation, according to him, and he thought that my ideals would be perfect. He was going to go to India and he wanted me to come as his wife. However, I did not feel comfortable marrying him when there was not love involved. I could perform the duties, but there was no love between us, and I felt it would be inappropriate. I went back to Mr. Rochester, and it turns out that his wife had died in an unfortunate accident, and we married. I realized that what makes the perfect husband is many things. I married for love and also for my own independence. I did not want to be in a loveless marriage, and I did not want to confiscate my own independence. Although it was very against social norms because of wealth and status, I did go for it anyways because I feel that although many people hold those types of things to such a high standard, they do not matter to me in the long run. The next question that I have here is from Lizzie. So Lizzie asked me, how did I cope without a mother figure? So again, if you've watched my other videos, you know that I did not have a mother growing up. I only had an aunt who was very cruel to me. For me, it was kind of difficult at first, but I didn't dwell on it. I never went searching for mother figures per se, but I did find them a lot in my life. I think that I personally was drawn to them due to what happened to me in the past. I don't talk about this a lot because, again, it wasn't something that I was looking for, but it was always something that I was drawn to personally because of my experiences. So when I was still at Gateshead Hall, my maid and servant Bessie was a very good figure to me. She was the only person in that house that was kind to me. She sung songs to me and told me stories. So I really did appreciate her, and she was kind of like a mother figure to me. I realize that now. I didn't really know what it meant back then, and again, I wasn't searching for it. I later met a certain Miss Temple at Lowood School with my friend Helen. We were both some of her favorites, and we were often invited for tea up at her room. It was a very nice experience. She was so kind to us and, again, told us stories and helped us, and I always wanted to be like her, and I didn't really understand, again, that was a mother figure sort of thing, but it really was. I did find myself drawn to mother figures instead of authority. I responded well to people who were kind to me because I lacked that in my childhood, instead of being okay with being loved even if I was a mistress, like I said in the last question. That is all I'm going to be answering today. Thank you so much for your questions. If you have more, you can send them to me or put them in the comments of this video, and I will attempt to read all of them. I do love to hear from you guys. Goodbye for now.